All right. In response to some of the questions that I had about when I had said the other day that we don't spend the cash, we don't get the cash to the corporation. You see what I mean? Our corporate character is gonna monetize our autograph, and the addition of our ad sign, our ad notorial locus sigilly, we gonna get paid as far as like anything that the corporation demands of us, and then we use the cash for the tip on the services that we provide for one another. And people's like, what? So since I'm not always so clearly able to articulate myself, because I'm all over the place, because I realize all this shit's connected. So I may jump from here to there and be all over the place. I'm gonna let this lady break it down for you. Run it.
Under which we all operate is actually not a law, it's a code, and it's called the Uniform Commercial Code.
Yes.
They did away with any actual laws, which probably happened somewhere in the 30s all over the world. It was 38 in the United States, and I think before that in Canada. But anyway, somewhere around there. They did away with what's called common law, and they instituted the Commercial Code. And all the Commercial Code is laws under which we operate in commerce, which happens actually to be maritime commercial law or admiralty commercial law.
Yes.
So all this has to do with banking. There is no other law. There's no criminal code. There's no nothing. Nothing that applies to us. Those policies, laws, statutes, etc. apply only to the people who make them up for the corporation from which they come. So, for example, when a cop stops you for going through a stop sign, well, show me the law. Well, there can't be a law that says that, unless I agree to it, of course, and why would anybody do that? I'm not suggesting that people go through stop signs, I'm just using that as an example.
Right, and that's a point right there that I want to make. I'm not advocating any type of fucking nefarious stuff at any point. I'm not with no deception, no types of fraud, or getting over on the people's, I'm not with that. Please understand that. I mean, I'm not advocating sheer anarchy or any types of any types of infringing on somebody else. That's out of bounds and off limits. But I'll be damned if you're gonna sit here and make me follow a law or a rule that isn't a law. I mean, it's not acknowledged, man. And you don't have my consent. We ain't got no agreement.
It applies to corporate entities and the employees of those corporations.
Yes.
So the only laws that really apply are the codes of this Uniform Commercial Code. So we're all operating in commerce, and that means then that even the courts, into which some people actually believe they have to go, they're not courts of law, they're courts of commerce. So when they drag you in saying something like, well, did you murder this guy? Well, it's not about murder, it's about who has stolen whose credit, and how much does who owe whom in order to balance the books.
Yes.
Simply bookkeeping. It's accounting. It has nothing to do with anything. It's not about theft. It's not about, you name it. It's about accounting and how do we balance the books. And that's what the IRS, etc. is all about, is they're there to balance the books. And in fact, they're simply not the enemy that we've always thought they were.
I told you. I'm telling you. I proved that shit.
In fact, just before you called, I was talking to a friend, and she's extremely concerned about, what's the IRS or the court now, because the issue's in court. What are they going to do? But I said, well, you got to remember, the IRS is only perturbed because you didn't file a tax return in order to get your tax returned to you, and now their books are out of balance, and they're blaming you because they don't have the paperwork about how you ran your commercial affairs.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you, Mom. And everybody else that asks me, what do we do? And I'm standing there telling you, you got to stand up. You got to tell them. I mean, until you do that, you can't sit there and act like somebody doing you some types of way. You doing it wrong.
Know how you did that? They'll stop chasing you, and they'll start chasing the ones who actually stole In
Right.
this particular case, the courts stole her credit. So all she has to do is name them, and the IRS will go after the judges. The way
Just
we want,
that-
we're planning on
I
putting
mean-
the courts as a system and the other commission, because that system is actually contrary to what's really going on, which is we are operating in bankruptcy. Every country in the world, when it failed to pay back its debt to the IMF, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, it had to declare bankruptcy, because that's why they collected the gold and silver. They ran out of everything.
Is this applicable to all nations across the globe?
Yes.
Yes, possibly not some tribes in the middle of Africa who
But
still
that's
use
bullshit.
wampum or whatever.
Right.
Not disparaging them, they're actually freer than we are.
Sure, yeah. Exactly.
But they've been paganized.
We're working desperately on this to find the correct forms. And just in case your European listeners are wondering about what forms, I can't say this for certain, but we're beginning to think that people over there, and even Australia, New Zealand, and England, they might just have to get EINs, which are employer identification.
The mark of the beast.
And also international tax identification numbers.
That's the mark of the beast. You need to know it, because that's what it is. You gotta have it, or you ain't doing shit.
I can't say this for certain, but it seems as if the IRS is kind of the head guy.
I've been trying to tell you.
Collection agents go. I mean, everybody's heard of the IRS. Not
I mean,
everybody's heard of the IRS.
they're on your they'd be your best friend if you fucking wake up.
They're called skeptics.
See, I haven't heard of that, but I'm sure you.
And you can't call yourself awake if you haven't fucking stood up and told them fucking peoples, any motherfucker, all comers, this is who I am. If you ain't done that, if you ain't claimed all the shit what you done did, and all what you done did, all the money you done had, and all of that shit, if you ain't claimed that shit, then you can't tell me you're woke. You're not. You're not shit. I mean, all these people that talk all this hot shit, what do they have to show? How are they keeping the peoples up off of them, man? Because if you have not done something to where you're protected from the fucking war that they're conducting on your ass on a daily basis, at any time you can get fucked off. They can come and lock you up for life. At any time. So don't tell me about your woke and if you ain't figured it out to the point of having protection from the criminals, because you ain't woke. You ain't shit. You ain't done shit. Not worth the hill of beans. It didn't.
I don't like they get, because they truly are the best collection agents on the planet. Well,
Get them to collect for
truth
you.
is, they're supposed to be collecting for us. I know this is really, really hard to imagine.
I mean,
But
no, it
whenever
ain't.
we have put our labor in the form of cash, or credit card payments, or debit card payments, or
Any of
money
it.
orders, or certified
Our
checks,
promise to
whatever it
fucking
is,
pay.
it's all from our labor. When we put that into the public, we're actually obstructing the bankruptcy. Because we're all acting in bankruptcy, in other words, the commercial code is based on and due to bankruptcy, we're actually in violation of public policy, and we're doing it wrong. We're not supposed to be paying anything with our labor.
I'm trying to tell you.
Setting off public debt with our signature. Which means when somebody presents you with a bill, which, by the way, they tend not to do anymore because that is the easy way to set off public debt, they're supposed to actually, you go to the store and you buy a lawnmower. Let's pick on Sears. I always pick on Sears.
This lady
what they're supposed to do when
smashed.
you take the lawnmower to the counter is they're supposed to write you up a bill that says who you are, who Sears is, and the cost of the thing, and what it is. What they
And you say,
what we're supposed to be able to do is
it's
to
good.
sign for it, thereby claiming it, and giving them access to what's called a treasury account, so that we can let the treasury know to offset Sears' debt, which Sears created, by the way. We didn't create it by buying a lawnmower. They
No.
created it. They wrote it up as a debt, and all we're doing by signing the bill
Is authorizing it.
authorizing the treasury
Yes.
to balance your accounts for you. Because
That's
I
why
have
they
to
call
do
it
that.
fiat
But for us, it's
money.
cash, our labor, believe it or not, is actually increasing the debt. It's doubling.
Well, think about it.
It's not the same. Then they give you a receipt which shows you that you've paid. Well, in fact, this did not set off their debt. It increased the problem because we gave them debt notes. Now, this is a
Dude.
huge, long diversion, which I don't really want to get into. But when we labor, we are putting forth our value, and what we're getting in return is debt
No.
notes. In other words,
Yes.
debt, those notes operate in debt. It's kind of like picture the level of seawater. Well, we are putting in something positive, so imagine the sea going up, right? What they're
Mhm.
giving us is something negative, so now we're operating below sea level. So it isn't
we're just
compensation. In fact, we are giving away our labor for nothing. What's that called? Slavery. So this is how
I
they
mean-
enslaved us by pretending to give us something of value that isn't of value. And yet, it's true. We can go and get what we want with that. But we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to.
Not that way.
We're supposed to be setting off public debt with our signature and using cash simply for items between you and me. Like if you want a haircut and I say, hey, I can cut your hair.
Bam.
So you say, come on over. And then you say, well, how can I compensate you? And I can say, well, let's see, you can invite me for supper. That would be a nice
there.
compensation.
I mean,
Or,
I got some of these tip dollars here.
You don't want to have me to supper. You can just give me some of those notes that you have that you get from working. And you say, fine. And I take those and I can do what I want with them. Go someplace.
But you were never supposed to be laboring for a corporation to get them.
Not the public, just the private. In other words, then I can maybe use my friend's computer for the day. And he said, well, how are you going to compensate me? I said, well, I got these notes Sandra gave me. So that's how that's supposed to work. We're not supposed to put those notes into the public. We're supposed to be able to walk into any store. They write us up a bill. We set it off by signing our name, which actually instructs the Treasury to set off their debt.
And
So then, of course,
I've
they
been
go
using
back
that,
to
dude.
what I just got from them, like the lawnmower. They
I've
actually-
been using it for over a year.
A lawnmower, and they use their account to do that. So they've been credited. Now, stop me if it gets too crazy, because they know everything.
No. I mean, I wish I had about 2 or 3 more hours of this, because, bro, it's exactly what I'm saying.
Let's go back a little more and go over the kind of the overview once more here a little bit, because if we think of money right off the bat, obviously it's a means of exchange. It's better in a way, or easier, I should put it, to carry around like, let's say, paper money instead of carrying around coming with your tractor or whatever it is that you want to exchange, right? So in that regard, we can think of money as a kind of a symbolic means of exchange.
That's all it is.
What you're talking about right here now is that money has been transformed into something else. That it
No, you transformed it into something else.
Supposed to be. Is that correct?
No.
Yes, it does give us what we want, as you say. We don't want to
I mean,
walk around with a tractor.
right. But you're the one whose mind's fucked up.
So
You know.
when we go to work, it's true they're giving us that, but we were never meant to earn our living anyway. Like I said,
I mean,
it's a whole ethics issue.
but come on.
What we're supposed to be doing is whatever our talent is, and we all have a talent whether we realize it or not.
I'll try and
We're supposed
tell.
to be doing that. I mean, there's carpenters out there, there's people who build lovely furniture.
You know,
who
like I
make
said,
lovely
if you're not
and
doing
so
what you
they
want to do,
ought to be
you
doing.
you doing it wrong.
Fellow man. And when a fellow man says, oh, I just love this piece of music that you played for me, or this desk that you built for me, what can I do for you?
Right. So we provide services for each other.
Well, you can do this for me. Or,
Please understand this,
if you want
people.
to, or that's not appropriate right now. Tell you what, just give me some of those notes, and I can take them someplace and get something from
And that's where the tip culture comes from.
They shouldn't even be existing, but the reason they're existing
It's because we
is
fucking
essentially
fell asleep.
confiscating our labor.
Yes.
And they've enslaved us. Instead of, so we're not working for ourselves anymore and each other. We're working for major corporations, and we're simply cogs in a machine there.
It's
And we're
our
not serving
own
anybody by
fault.
doing it. Because most of the people who run, you look at any city and you can see these skyscrapers. What are people doing in there? They're not
None.
doing anything for their fellow man. They're either doing stockbroking or insurance or banking or something that has involved them, rather enslaved them, in the commercial world. There's no good being done from any of these corporations. Now, yes, these corporations do supply us with the goods that we want. And
But it's on our. I mean, the public money is everybody's.
Because you knew that, by that I mean the alleged government.
Yes.
What they did was they used the birth certificate as a bond in order to create the credit to create or to manufacture whatever the corporation is.
Right, and that's how they have it all the time, and you can get some too, because you're if you're in the game, you're in the game. You just need to figure out how to work your fucking piece. You see what I'm saying? That's what you need to do. You need to know how to work your piece out. You know. And until you do that, we suffer, dude. That's what it's gonna be. That's how it is. Nothing gonna change it. You know, we can talk about it till we're blue in the face, but ain't nothing gonna change. Ain't a damn thing gonna change. But that about does it for this one, guys. Keep your head up. Till next time. Take care.